Now, let me just put it blatantly to you. The program targets the birth of new babies. So once you have your baby, before your baby leaves the hospital, you no longer get a paper birth certificate, but then you get a digital one that is somehow implanted somewhere on somebody's body. Think about that, but have a listen to this.
The digital ID, which has been a big problem to us for a very long time, is now on a testing mode for the next 2 months. I have been assured by all the stakeholders, led by the ministries concerned, that by December we will be able to launch digital ID, where every Kenyan don't have to carry any paper, plastic or otherwise, as an ID, that they should be able to be identified digitally using their iris.
We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
Kenya is in serious trouble. Now, for you to accept this, that means you're going to be completely surveilled and controlled. Think about it.
Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'm going to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noah's in his gospel, bride, lifting up the standard of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will to be edifying. Kill Gates will be implementing digital IDs and newborns in Kenya. As you heard the video, when they mentioned that basically instead of giving you a paper birth certificate, which, we've went over that several times about birth certificates being nothing but mere slave receipts or warehouse receipts, as they do here in the States. Upon your birth, they put you part of a registry, and then they bring back this documentation in all caps, which represents a straw man and a dead entity, because corporations are in all caps, which means your property. Basically, long story short, they bring back this receipt and they draw up this pamphlet plan, and they basically have the father and the mother to sign the birth certificate. And basically, you just signed your kid over into slavery. And this is another way that the state can contact you. They can tax you. They can get you for child support. And they can do all these particular things in order to take away your freedoms through this birth certificate, which is nothing but a slave receipt. Okay. The way that should be done is when your child is born, because technically you don't have to sign anything, but upon signing that receipt, they're supposed to give you the rundown on what you're getting yourself into, and they're supposed to tell you that you're basically signing your kid over into their jurisdiction and that they can sue you in a court of law if need be. And by signing that, your kid basically has a tax ID number. Not at birth, but basically you're implemented into the system. And upon you get older, you get a tax ID, you have to pay taxes, you have to pay bills. Basically they just signed you up. You made a contract with this system, okay? And that showed the deceitful practices of Esau, because technically you don't have to be technically, and how can I say this? They're supposed to give you the rundown on what you're getting yourself into, but they plow the ignorance of people because they know people don't know, because they don't inform them. They don't teach you these things in school. Okay, they don't teach you law, and they don't teach you from the Black Laws Dictionary, and they don't teach you to understand your particular rights as a citizen here, because basically you ain't nothing but a slave. So now he's implementing this in Kenya, which, this been in talks for years. But now I was reading an article here that I found on Google, and I researched it when it says Kenya begins trial program for new digital ID cards. Okay. Also redacted, it says Portugal is implementing a you-know-what ID card that require proof of participation in certain activities. Would you be okay with being forced to have a such and such card? And when I looked at the statistics, 99% said no. Okay. Because people are understanding that this is a slave system. Okay, this is a system that they're gonna lump you in, which pit means system, but they're gonna put you a part of this system in order for you to buy, sell, or do anything that's worth doing. They're gonna basically incorporate you into their new system, and this is the plan. This is why you have all these Black Swan events and all these particular world shattering events that's been taking place, because they want to get this system up and running, okay, which will be the end all be all. When this is finally instituted into the earth, mainly here in the West, that's when we can safely say that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai will do an end, or he will make an end to this system. All right. So anyway, Slakia, the article here is from what is called the IT Web, and it says Kenya's government has begun a pilot program for the new digital identification cards, which is a prelude to the CHIP. Okay, and then like we say, they may just outright micro CHIP you, because they already have the technology in place that is waiting on a proper event. And pilot means like the beginning of something. Like when they air those new series, they say the pilot episode, which is the introduction into what the series is going to be about, the beginning. It says, according to a statement issued on Wednesday, first-time ID applicants will now be issued the new Masha card starting November 1st, 2023. So we know this was last year, less than a year ago. It says applicants seeking replacement for the face or lost cards will also receive the new card with greater security as the government evaluates the country's readiness for a complete deployment of digital IDs. And another form of a digital ID would be the micro CHIP. Okay, like you notice, we've been having a lot of cyber attacks for the whole entire year. Okay, and they've been shutting down systems and hacking into certain interface programs. And recently, they mentioned that every United States citizen has had a social security number hacked. So therefore, our information was sold to these people, and they can use that as a security parameter to say, well, hey, we need to get everybody under this particular computer or this particular system because we need to know who's who. And you know, they're pushing the security thing because one of the biggest fear of the people here in America mainly is having a bank account information sabotage, the credit cards, and their identity. Okay, if you notice, there's been a lot of robocalls, a lot of text messages, a lot of random text messages. I get text messages randomly say, hey, would you like to go out for coffee today? And I've never seen this number a day in my life. Okay, but all that's orchestrated is what they call order out of chaos. Okay, Esau sold our information to these other third-party companies and these so-called hackers, which I believe a lot of them are CIA, but they sold this program to people in order to get them on edge. And I believe as this thing is getting ready to roll out, they're going to create something of an effect that people may start getting their bank accounts hacked in grove numbers, to the point they're going to start pulling money from people's accounts to scare them into submission of a more safer system. Because when you hit people in a wallet, in their belly, this is when they comply. Okay, it's easy. It's an easy formula. You want people to comply with you, starve them out, take their ability to live, and they will do whatever the hell you tell them to do. Okay, most people are less resistant when it comes to livelihoods, and they've been experimenting on you people since America has been an established colony, man. Okay, they see how you people go crazy over possessions and convenience and keeping up with the Jonesies. They've seen how you people react to that shit. You know, they can hold a house over your head and drive you into fucking depression, to borderline suicide. So it's easy to take things from you because you people have been gaslit, man. Okay? But it says here, on a trial basis, all Kenyans turning 18 in any part of Kenya will be issued a Masha card. This way, we know whether there are any faults or issues before the pre-ultimate launch. Okay? But it says the Masha card will include a unique personal identifier, which is a UPI number known as the My Aisha number, which will serve as its holder's primary and lifelong registration and identifying reference. And they need it because, like I said, you're a slave to their system. Okay, if you was a free sovereign individual, you ain't got to walk around with no fucking identity on you. They don't need to know who you are. Why they need to know who you are for? Which proves this is slavery, man. Okay, and they tried to do that here too a couple years back I remember back in 2017, they was talking about by 2019, 2020, they was going to have what they call the real ID, but it kept getting pushed back, you know, and in order for you to hop on a plane or go abroad, you have to have a real ID, which they can measure your biometrics in real time. But people was kind of bucking up against it, and then again, they didn't roll it out. So it kept getting delayed. But they was hinting at it back then, years ago. This was like 18, 19, 21, almost 7 years ago. You know, and I remember because when I was getting ready to go out of town, I had to get my license updated, you know, because it was expired. And I was reading something online about how they want to implement real ID here in Missouri by 2019, 2020. Though it's still in talks, it have not come to pass yet. But I believe that it's all going to fall and stifle under the micro C hip, you know, because I believe a lot of the senators here kept shooting it down because they felt like it infringed on people's freedoms. But it says here, which serve as its holder's primary and lifelong registration and identifying reference. It says all babies will be given a MASHA number to use on their birth certificates and subsequent registration for government services such as school enrollment and healthcare. See, and these are the particular services and subsidiaries you need in order to live. Okay, everything is government orchestrated, from your jobs to your health care information, all this shit, you know. And it says, and when they reach the age of 18, the same number will be converted to their MASHA card number. But the government plans to gradually phase out the current IDs in favor of MASHA cards, with the present ID number translating back to a MASHA number. According to Big Talk, there will be no mass registration for biometrics for fixed funding for the exercise, but he stated that the MASHA number, MASHA card, I'm tired of saying that shit, and MASHA digital ID will be merged into a population record known as the MASHA integrated database. It says this would eliminate the need for vetting when issuing identity cards, and this will revolutionize inclusivity for marginalized communities, which is you jakes or poor people, through voiding the need for vetting. And he went on to say, President William Ruto declared on Monday the intention to pilot digital IDs is to support the country's digital plans, including the consumption of government services. So there you go. So they're going to bring the C-HIP to them too if they hadn't already established it. But they was talking about this for years, and now here we go. And you got other Israelite groups out there still scoffing and still saying that the MOTB is sin. But wait a minute, man. If the MOTB is sin, then that means we all got it, right? Because according to the scriptures, sin is the transgression of the law, which taking the chip will be a transgression of the law, statutes, and commandments, okay, in the form of adultery. But we all sin and fall short of the glory of the Most High. So if we all sin, how can we be saved then, you know, if it's the MOTB? Because according to the scriptures, Revelation says if you take that mark, then basically you're going to be destroyed. And according to you, it's sin. So is there not a forgiveness of sin? Okay. Because if that sin falls under the act of adultery, spiritual fornication, and getting things carved into the flesh, which goes into the law of tattoos, you're not supposed to get that. There's repentance and there's forgiveness for those things. But the scriptures say the only sin that's not forgivable is the sin of blasphemy. Which you take the MOTB, that's equivalent to blasphemy, because basically you're putting another God before your power. So you guys are all over the place with that breakdown. And the IUIC, you niggas are getting ready to fall, bro, to say the least. When the Lord brings you down, hey, we gonna praise you, how about you, because enough is enough, man. Okay, you guys have been playing games for far too long. And honestly speaking, the Lord is getting tired of you people, man. All right. So anyway, let's go here, get a couple precepts. I don't want to continue to rant. But let's go from here, because what I'm realizing is that all these countries are incorporating the beast system. They're all getting in line with this system, because at the end of the day, it's the elites putting the plug. So this is 2nd Esdras 15, and I'm going to start at verses... let's start at verses 46. It says, and thou Asia, even though, you know, Asia do have what they call the... what do you call that shit, man? Damn, my thoughts escape me harshly today. You know how you had them days when you on point with the verbiage, and then sometimes you just can't form a sentence without screwing up? You know, it just one of them things, man. But anyway, they have what they call a credit-based system or a social credit system. You know, social credit system. And long story short, China, they have a social credit system in place. And this is what they're trying to do here in America. Okay, implement this social credit system. But anyway, it says, give me 1 second, Salakia. Fucking things, man. Anyway, it says, in thou Asia, thou art partaker in the hope of Babylon and art the glory of our person. Yeah, because when you go to these different countries, you know, places like in Africa and places like China, Japan, they have a system that's similar to America. They have skyscrapers. They wear suits and ties, like this sellout here. Going back to this video, this ninja speaking. Guess what? He has a suit and tie on, which means he's been totally he's sold out to the West. Okay, this is not a traditional Kenyan garb, which proves they sold out. And then look at him. You know, low haircut, no beard, no mustache, bald head. Clearly sellout, man. And the scriptures goes into you Jakes, which he's probably not a Jake, but still it goes into the whole concept of people selling out, man, to the West. And it reads, and it says, thou Asia, thou art partaker in the hope of Babylon and art the glory of her person. It says, but woe be unto thee, thou ratchet, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thyself. It says, and has decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they may please and glory in thy lovers, which have also, it says, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Okay? So you other nations that's under the spirit of Babylon the Great, you're going to be destroyed right along with it, man. Okay? Because America is spearheading this program into all the nations. And we're going to get that in Revelation, the 18th chapter. And it says, and thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. And isn't the micro C here just nothing but a device, an invention? It says, therefore says Yahweh, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Okay, so hey, you take that MOTB, no matter where you at, the Most High is going to bring plagues upon you, man. Boils, cancerous sores, man. Okay, no matter where you at in the earth, Yahweh Shema is going to judge you if you get that MOTB. But America is going to be utterly decimated by fire and brimstone. Okay. And it says, and the glory of thy power should be dried up as the flower, and the heat should arise that is sent over thee. It says, and thou should be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lover should not be able to receive thee. Okay. So that's the judgment for being a partaker with Babylon and their wickedness. You know? Revelation 18, and I'm going to start at verses 4, and I end it here. Verses 3, it says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of our fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Isn't he considered one of the rulers of the earth? Even though he's just a puppet, he's still in some type of authority because he's a spokesperson for a nation. All right. And it reads, it says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of our fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxing rich through the abundance of our delicacies, man. Okay? So this system is going to be worldwide, and it's already beginning to be worldwide. It's just the West is slow to rubbing it out or rolling it out because, for one thing, they're behind. Second of all, Esau doesn't want to lose his kingdom, so he's dragging his knuckles. But with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you will edify. Until the next lesson. Shalom.